This video is a circus, or how to make a Ubuntu server from an old mini laptop. This is an old ASUS EeePC 701G that is no longer useful. It has a single-core Intel processor of 900 MHz, integrated 4GB SSD drive. Usually it came with 512 MB DDR RAM and supports up to 2GB RAM. 7-inch LCD display, resolution 800 x 480 pixels, integrated wireless card, 3 2.0 USB ports, 1 SDHC slot, 100 Mbit networking interface. It came with some ultralight version of Linux, which was able to connect to the internet. It had webmail, internet browser, and Skype. It came with antivirus, a calendar, and it could even print. The integrated 4GB SSD was not all that useful. If you don't insert a USB stick or memory card, you wouldn't be able to store anything serious. It had support for playing multimedia content. It even had a few games. But it could also connect to Wi-Fi. However, the integrated SSD has only 4GB. My idea is to install the operating system on an 8GB memory card, which I will insert into the integrated memory card slot. So the memory card will be used as the main hard drive. And the integrated SSD can be used as additional storage space or even a swap partition. But if it gets sideways at all, I give up and install directly onto the integrated SSD. I will start the installation of Ubuntu 16.04 from a bootable USB stick that I connect to one of the USB ports. If you don't know how to make a bootable USB stick, I will insert a link into the video description when it is uploaded. So subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified when the video is published. I turn on the laptop and press F2 to access the BIOS. And as you can see in the BIOS settings, this video was recorded in 2019. I navigate to the disk order settings to set the order in which it will boot from the disks. First with USB stick, then from memory card, and then from the integrated SSD drive. Then I set that priority is given to booting from the USB stick. I save the change and restart. And we started the installation of Ubuntu Linux server. I choose the installation language, but before I start the installation, I will first connect the laptop to the LAN network. In order to be able to download all the additional packages and drivers during the installation, this step is not mandatory because all necessary packages are already on the USB stick with the installation packages. Then I press Enter to install Ubuntu server. And of course, it immediately throws some warnings and said undefined video mode number 314. Press Enter to see available video modes or space to continue. Of course, I'll press space. Don't make me have to choose anything now, please. Now it asks me again what language I want to use during the installation process. I choose English. Now it's asking me what time zone I'm in. I choose Other. Now I choose Europe. Then I choose Bosnia. And now it asks me which locale I want to use. I choose English. And locales are actually displays of formats, time, date, currency, and so on. Now it asks me if I want the system to recognize which keyboard I'm using, so that it can ask me to press keys on the keyboard randomly. I choose yes, of course. Then I press the keys as the system asks me to do, and it recognizes that I have an HR keyboard. The system detects the hardware components. Now we are waiting for it to do the preparation of the components. Now it detects hardware components again. Here I need to select the primary network interface that the system will use for all of its needs. I have on the menu the LAN network card, where the laptop is connected with a LAN cable, and a wireless network card that I could connect to a wireless access point or a wireless router. Since the connection via LAN or network cable is faster, more reliable and safer, I will select the LAN network interface. The system recognizes and detects the network configuration. After that, it asks me what name I want to give this server, because under that name the server will be presented to other devices on the network. Considering that the original intention of this server is to serve as a VPN server, I will name it VPN. If you are interested in how to turn this server into a VPN server, subscribe to the HEPEK channel, because I will cover the tutorial on how to make a VPN server in the next video. Here it asks me to give the full name to the first user account on this server. Now it asks me to enter a username, the username that will be used to log in to the server. Then it asks me to define a password that will be used to log in to this server, and of course to confirm the password. The next step is to choose whether I want the home directory and all the data in it to be encrypted. It is a directory where, among other things, all user data will be located. If you're wondering what encryption is, it is cryptographic encryption of data so that only people who have the access key can access the content. I do not want to encrypt the content, because in this case I have no need to. In the next step, the system detects my current physical location and offers me to apply the time zone settings according to the current physical location. I choose yes. The system recognizes hardware components, primarily data storage components such as hard drives, hard disks, and so on. The partitioner starts. Now it asks me if I want to unmount the partition now, because if I leave it mounted, it will not be able to create, delete, or change the partition. I confirm that I want to. Here it asks me how I want to partition the hard drive. I choose this semi-automatic method, and it uses the whole disk and without LVM. Now it asks me which disks to use. I'll tell him to use the memory card. And it explicitly emphasizes that everything from the specific disk will be deleted. Here it shows me the configuration again and asks me to confirm. In order to apply the configuration, I confirm. And now it asks me once again, am I sure I want to save the change? Because after I confirm, there is no going back. And I just confirm, yes, please. And of course I get an error, which is what I expected. It says that it is unable to create a swap partition. I will not choose continue. As I said, I will go back. And I choose the integrated SSD drive, because right now I don't want to waste time troubleshooting why it won't install onto the SD card. I confirm again that I wanted to create partitions on the selected disk, and I confirm again, and now it's installing it. Here it asks if I use a proxy server to access the world outside my network, by that meaning the internet. And since I don't use a proxy in this environment, I won't even specify a proxy server and choose continue. Now it asks me if I want it to update the system automatically. Of course I don't. The following menu offers me some basic packages to choose if I want them to be installed during the system installation. I'll just add SSH. If you don't know what SSH is, watch the video until the end. At the end I will show you what it is for. It now installs the grub bootloader, and it asks if I want to install the grub bootloader in the master boot record on the hard drive. Well, of course I want to. And now I choose on which disk I want to install the grub bootloader. Now it tells me that installation is complete and that the computer needs to be restarted in order for the newly installed system to work. And to remove the media from which I installed the system so that the installation doesn't start again. I remove the USB stick from which I installed the operating system and select Continue. And this is the grub bootloader. It asks me to choose a system. Since we only have one installed system, I choose the only one I have, and that is Ubuntu. I will show you the booting in real time without speeding up the video clip. Just to show you how long it takes to boot Ubuntu 16.04 server on this computer, which has only one CPU core, 512 MB of RAM, and of course an SSD drive that still contributes significantly. And if you're wondering who else is installing Ubuntu 16.04 in 2023, please note that this video was recorded in 2019. Also, this ASUS EeePC is a 32-bit system. So even if I wanted to install a newer Ubuntu release, I can't, because I think the last 32-bit Ubuntu was 16.04, at least as far LTS variant is concerned. It might be possible to upgrade to the 32-bit 18.04, but it doesn't matter at this point. If I were to reinstall Linux on this machine now, I will choose Debian because it is still available in a 32-bit version. And the system booted up quite quickly. Let me log in. And I got the password wrong somewhere. I'm typing again. Now I'm pinging the Google DNS server just to check if the network and internet is working. And it works. I type df-h to show me the disk space. The df command shows the disk capacity in bytes, I think. And the -h command commands it to be human readable. An example so that it can be read by humans. That is to show it in megabyte or gigabyte. And here we see that the /dev/sda1 partition has 1.7 gigabyte free of the system available 3.2 gigabyte. I expect that after installing the VPN server on this system, it will last for 2-3 years if I update it regularly. In one of the next videos I will show you how to make a VPN server out of this. So I would kindly ask you to subscribe to the HEPEK channel and click on the little bell to get notified when new videos are published on the HEPEK channel. And here we see that it offers me to do the update on 18.04, but I don't care because this SSD drive is too small for anything more serious. Now I'm typing the ifconfig command. It is a command that will display the current configuration of the network interfaces. I do this in order to find out what IP address this computer got. Server. And we see that it got the address 10.27.1.30. Why is the IP address important? Because I want to show you how to use SSH. SSH is a secure shell. It is a protocol that allows us to remotely connect to the server and directly to the console, exactly as you can see it on the screen. For that we need an SSH client. Here, as an example, I will show you the termius client software for iOS, iPad and iPhone, but it is also available for Android, while for Windows I use putty. I will show you that in one of the next videos. So in the termius application, we see a list of saved connections to already existing servers or devices that use SSH, Telnet, or whatever termius supports. Since this is a new server that I want to connect to via the SSH protocol, I navigate to the plus sign in the upper right corner and I choose a new host. Under alias, I specify how I want the name of this new connection to be displayed. Under hostname, I enter the FQDN, which would probably be vpn.hepek.lab, but since I haven't created that yet, I enter the IP address. This is the one we saw a while ago in the ifconfig interface configuration, which is 10.27.130. Here I choose that I want to use SSH. I enter username and password. And I tap on Save. A new icon for the new server appears. I tap on it to make the connection. Now it asks me if I'm sure I want to connect to the server behind the 10.27.130 IP address with the following RSA fingerprint. By selecting Continue, Termius will save this RSA key and will no longer ask me when I connect from this iPad. And now we see that it has successfully connected to the server console, and it offers me the same 1804 update. Now I will restart the server with the command sudo reboot now, and that was it. If you liked this video, like it. If not, then don't. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that bell too to get notified when there is a new video on the channel. HEPEK is also present on other social networks. Links in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, have a nice one, until the next video.